Coming to you live from Pier 17 in the South Street Seaport District. Welcome back to Jalen and Jacoby, brought to you by Heineken. Jalen Rose, we will get back to Game 1 of the NBA Finals, but first we have to acknowledge a dramatic change in your life and in the program of Michigan basketball. Juwan Howard was officially announced at a press conference yesterday, and let's just have a look at how he reacted.
We brought the jersey back. This is for you. I said I wasn't gonna cry. Guess that never happens when you're excited about something that's so special to you, that means so much. Brotherhood is big with me, and that's something that the relationship that we've built over the years, that would never leave us. They are family. Jimmy, Chris, Jalen, Ray. I know how supportive they all will be in helping to continue this Michigan winning tradition on and off the floor.
So Jalen, you guys have talked this whole time about the support of the Fab Five and how the Fab Five is going to support Juwan. What exactly does that mean?
So when you're a college coach and you're trying to uplift a collegiate program, there are a lot of tentacles to it. Number one, people are going to judge you by your wins and losses. So him being a terrific coach that put himself in position by earning his keep for 6 years with the Miami Heat, by being a longtime 19-year NBA veteran, by him being a former alum, he's already going to put himself in position with his coaching staff to do his best at the X's and O's. And hopefully that plays out by the young men, how they perform well in the classroom and on the floor. But there's another component to being a successful program. It's giving back to the community and how you're able to influence others by the influence you have. And in each of our ways, we've tried to do that. Ray, Jimmy have been coaches. C-Webb and I working in the media. Now all of a sudden, as opposed to being fingers, we're gonna be like a fist. And when you're together, you can have a bigger impact. Not only giving back, but in recruiting, but in support of the program, and just being alums that bleed maize and blue. It's one thing to have a terrific coach. I love John Calipari, one of the best in the game. Took Memphis to a Final Four, had some great players like Derrick Rose. But it's nothing like when they hire Penny Hardaway. It's just different when you bring in a former player. Because a former player is gonna not only have a level of cachet with the alums and all of the officials at the school, but with recruits, but with the fan base, and the level of relevancy that comes with the fact that you actually saw that person perform in uniform. It's just different. That's why it's laughable to me. Trust me, former players, we die laughing when media members and fans act like, oh, they don't have any head coaching experience. When you're in the court, when you're on the court and you're in the huddles, and when you play for so many different people and you play with so many people, and you've had to make adjustments like Juwan from being the #1 option to the #2 option to the #3 option to being a substitute, to sitting behind the bench as a player, to sitting behind the bench as a coach, sitting on the bench as a coach, coaching summer league, that experience is invaluable. So now all of a sudden when he brings that to the program and the support he's gonna get, taking over from John Beilein, who already did an amazing job, I think that level of relevancy is what's gonna drive the narrative, and he's gonna do a terrific job of leading the program.
So I'm gonna ask you the question that other people won't ask you. Is the hiring of Juwan Howard going to be the catalyst for you and Chris Webber to mend your relationship?
I think so. And just because I'm fully transparent and I don't like to run game, people have to look back at the dynamics of, we were childhood friends that played AAU together when we were 11, 12, 13 years old, way before Michigan. We decided we were gonna go to school at the University of Michigan together. We were the last two to sign our letter of intent. That's why he wore number 4 and I wore number 5. Things happen in relationships, whether it's your family, whether it's your friends, and you don't always see eye to eye. But then there's certain seminal moments that it's like, all right, the buck stops here. It's time to be serious, and it's time to sacrifice for something bigger than yourself. And the day that Juwan Howard got named the head basketball coach at the University of Michigan, that buried any demons that came from what happened, good, bad, or indifferent, with the Fab Five, both on and off the floor. And his hiring usurps any personal agendas, overtakes any personal disagreements. It's now time to all see eye to eye, be on the same accord, and give him and the University of Michigan the support they need to be as successful as they can be. I've never not had an allegiance to the school. However, there was a separation period, and I was riding or dying with my brother. Oh, he can't go back to campus? I'm not going back to campus either. So for 15 years, I didn't go back either. And as a matter of fact, didn't say anything to the media about it. The only time from 1994 to 2011, we talked about anything off wax that was happening behind the scenes as it related to family business was when it was time to do the Fab Five doc, because his separation had ended at that point, and it was a great time to bury the hatchet. But you got to give everybody their chance to heal as an adult on their own time. And now that Juwan's the head basketball coach at the University of Michigan, it's time to rally behind him. It's time to rally behind the program and do whatever we can. And it's not just about the Fab Five. I got to tell people this. I idolized Glenn Rice, Lloyd Vaught, Sean Higgins, Ramil Robinson. Antoine Jobert went to my high school. Leslie Rockamore, Roy Tarpley. My high school coach was like a father figure to me. Perry Watson left Southwestern when I did and joined Steve Fisher's staff. Steve Fisher, Brian Dutcher, Jay Smith, Michael Jackson, who was an assistant coach at Michigan, Detroit native. Bakari Alexander, Detroit Southwestern High School. So there have always been prints of the Fab Five on campus, but now we can be back to solidify them. And I'm really grateful that we have that opportunity. And it didn't take nothing tragic to happen. It just took time. And I want to tell young people, you can also grow. You can also mature. You can also reinvent yourself. The person that you see here right now talking to you, you can just look at some old footage. I wasn't that same dude from 1991 to 1994, okay? There was a level of maturity that had to take place with all of us. And so now that we're here, it's all about supporting Juwan and trying to see the program continue to elevate.
Of course, when we talk about Game 1 in Toronto, we have to talk about Drake, and we will right after this. Welcome back to Jalen and Jacoby. We had a great game in Toronto last night, especially exciting for the home fans. And when we're talking about the Toronto fans, of course, we're going to talk about Drake. The first thing Drake did, which I loved, was showed up in a Raptors jersey. Not just any Raptors jersey. He had on a Wardell Curry senior jersey that is signed by Steph Curry's father, Del Curry, who played some of his career in Toronto. And then there was this. There's the tattoos that he has of both Steph Curry and Kevin Durant's numbers. He covered with a sweatband. Very noticeable. Jalen, I love the boss move of wearing the Del Curry jersey, but the soft move of covering up the tattoos, like if you got the tattoos, they're there forever. We all know about him, Drake. You can't just cover him up. What do you think about his outfit?
I agree with you. It was a mental manipulation. When you show up with Dale Sr.'s jersey, you're basically sending a message, y'all have the son, we got the father. And ultimately, that's how this series is gonna play out if it goes the way Drake wants it to go. But I also have to say something for you national media pundits that continue to put the camera on one of the most famous people that we have in sports and entertainment, Aubrey Drake, and rightfully so. There's another gentleman sitting on the baseline. His name is Nav, and he's been with the team since 1995. And guess how many games he's missed? None. So while Drake's at concerts and outselling records and becoming a mogul, I just want to make sure that for those of us that are in the trenches, it's more than just acknowledging Drake being what you guys are calling a fan. He's not a fan, he's an ambassador. I just rolled past their practice facility. There's a big owl on the side of it. That's his brand. I just saw their practice jerseys. There's a big owl on it. That's his OVO brand. He's not a fan. He's a part of the organization.
So Jalen, not only did he wear the Curry jersey, he also had just a little chat with his friend Steph Curry before the game. And, like any friend, if you see something on their face or in their hair, you just kind of pick it off to help them out. So he must have saw some lint in Steph Curry's hair. So, he took care of it. And then he put it up for sale on eBay with the username Draymond Shouldn't Wear 23. Right now, that piece of lint, which it looks like he threw on the ground, to be honest with you. Right now, that piece of lint, allegedly that piece of lint, is on eBay for $100,000. The current bid. Would you spend $100,000 for some lint that was once in Steph Curry's hair?
Hold on, are you saying that that's the minimum bid? Or
No,
are you saying somebody
that's what
did
the bidding
bid?
is currently at. Now, I doubt anyone will actually give up that money. I think these are all fake bids. But how insane is it to you that this whole piece of lint in Steph Curry's hair controversy is happening?
Well, it's Drake and his ability to have social media and use it to his benefit with so many followers on IG and Twitter and all of the platforms. We saw it against Milwaukee when the daughter of the Bucks owner showed up rocking the Fly Pusher t-shirt. He immediately embraced it and made that his Abby picture. So he understands as the Raptors continue to progress, the cameras are gonna be on him. He got to root for his squad. Now, I also need to say this. We're gonna see him have verbal altercations with fans. We're gonna see him have verbal altercations with players and coaches. That's what happens when you sit in front row. But the one with Draymond Green, don't overblow that. They're friends. Yeah. I wouldn't be surprised if they were out together after the game last night.
Of course, yeah. I think people, called it a scuffle and think it's a real thing, like they're really upset with each other. They are friends. They have a relationship. They're just talking trash like two friends playing in the driveway. It's really not that big a deal. It's not making it into something that it is not. And also, I have a question for you, sir. There's a friend of the show who is also a super fan of one of the teams in the finals. That's a gentleman by the name of 40 Fonzarelli. That's a gentleman by the name of 40 Water. That's a gentleman by the name of E40. And he was at the game as well last night. Do you think that the ball is now in E40's court to respond in kind when the series heads to the Bay?
Not at all. You stay in character because he's rooting for a team that's going for 4 championships in 5 years. Drake is rooting for a team that's making its first NBA Finals in 25 years. So there's gonna be a different level of decorum that they're displaying when they're at the game. 40 gonna have his beverage. He's seen them win. He probably got a ring. He came on our show, Brubman style, and let us know that the Warriors are gonna win how many rings when they first started this run? You remember the number that he gave us?
10.
He said 9.
I think
or
he said
10.
10. Yeah, he said 10.
We did a lot of laughing.
He looks kind of right.
By the way,
he could be right.
They're racking up some rings really quick.
It could happen.
They might not get to 10, but to get to 4 or 5, that is really special. So, again, I like seeing hip-hop be embraced. I remember coming into the league at a time where people were wearing small shorts, and the closest thing you got to hip-hop was Woot, There It Is. And then all of a sudden, the Detroit and the Bay Area love affair rekindled. And the Bad Boys adopted MC Hammer and You Can't Touch This. And then all of a sudden, the door of hip hop and rap music was opened for sports. And now it's embraced and it's big business. I can see Cardinal Official performing in the arena. I can see ASAP Ferg performing
Jalen.
at a halftime. That's what it is now, driving the culture.
I have a little conspiracy theory I want to drop on you. I couldn't help but notice that there weren't too many camera shots of Drake, especially in the first half. There weren't too many verbal mentions of Drake during the game. Do you think it came down from on high to kind of take a little bit of the focus away from Drake during game one?
Well, you have to basically try not to see him because he got a VIP seat. Whether players are checking in the game, whether the coaches are moving on the sideline, whether you're panning to see the reaction of the crowd, based on where he sits, you got to flat out try to ignore him and do it purposely if you don't want to mention him. And I agree with you, that probably was something that was planned, but ain't no getting around it. Don't hate, let them cook. You don't do that when the Lakers are playing and they showing Jack or they're showing Denzel, or when the Knicks are playing, they used to show Spike Lee, but he don't go to the games anymore. Don't hate. Allow him to enjoy the fact that his team is in the NBA Finals.
There's some really interesting reports about Mike D'Antoni, and we will give you all the details